I want to start out this video saying yes, this is an older video that I'm responding to. Yes, Rags is a controversial person on YouTube and on Twitter, where I'm going to post the link to this video after. And yes, that I can't edit this shit because I don't have editing software. Things I have to say to those three things is fuck you, I don't give a fuck. Alright, so today we are going to be reviewing this monstrosity. However, I say monstrosity with a grain of salt, because I actually like this video. In fact, on this account, I haven't done it. Shut the fuck up with this pick a time bullshit. God damn it. Windows doesn't know when to shut the fuck up, do they? Okay. As I was saying, on this account I haven't liked it because this is my recording account for my channel. And I will say this, there are a lot of things that I liked about this video, I liked about his review. But then there are a lot of things that I think he really missed the mark on. And I'm going to be addressing those things as the video goes along. Now, I think that this will record, but just in case, let me add, no, wrong thing. Fuck. I am doing this right now because, yeah, I'm not prepared for shit. I guess it would go through display capture, which is already on, so yeah. Like I said, unedited, I don't have editing software, screw off. So, let's get right into it.
Oftentimes, when video games are reviewed, there is a stark contrast between the review scores based on
And
where
I
they're
forget
from.
that I don't have working speakers. Of course. So let me plug this stupid microphone in and all this shit with these headphones. Fucking Apple headphones, so beware the sound quality may drop. And my phone just dropped, like the sound quality is about to. Great foreseeing of the future, cell phone. Let's get right into this.
Oftentimes, when video games are reviewed, there is a stark contrast between the review scores based on where they're from. Exhibit 1, Destiny 2. The PC, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4 versions of this game scored from critics an 85, an 87, and an 85 respectively. In the same order from users, they're only able to generate a 4.3, a 4.7, and a 5.5 being the highest. I understand that you have to take Metacritic reviews with a grain of salt, but
I will say this, yes, you definitely do. I agree with you on this, Regs. Metacritic is one of the most terrible places to get game reviews because they'll score it extremely high because people pay them to do so.
eventually, after enough reviews come in, you start to see consistencies. Eventually, you get to see a glimpse of the big picture coming from fans and players and reviewers. But what is it about Destiny 2 that has critics raving and gamers? The game has a large following. Apparently, there's something about the Destiny formula that people love. But in all the time that I spent with Destiny 2, it eluded me. The game was mediocre. Man, it's a good thing that these agile little scouts aren't just walking into my face within melee range. Else they might be really easy to kill.
Oh, no, this way, this door over here.
Sidebar, I forgot to mention at the start of this video, I am under fair use, so...
Oh, look, he pulled out his sword.
Oh,
he's dead.
shit. Oh, he died. He didn't make it. Had a complication. There is just no tenseness here. There is there's nothing epic about this.
Well, yeah, what are the stakes? You'll die.
I'm just walking forward, killing everything, killing 7 enemies per magazine, reloading.
Yeah, this game reminds me of Age of Ultron. It's like you got a bunch of these robots that are supposed to be imposing, but they're not.
I will agree with Fringy and Rags here. The game isn't that imposing with the enemies. The AI could have used a little bit of tweaking. That's fault on Bungie.
They just, you know, they get killed so easily, and you know nobody's gonna die.
That's Fringy, my cooperative buddy for this game. I don't want to speak for him, but neither of us really had a great time playing this game.
And you know, when I'm giving the Call of Duty story props for being surprising.
So basically, Thumos' job is like the other bosses. His job is to get shot.
I mean, what's he
No, Thumos' job is to pilot the ship.
even doing here? Like, why isn't he proactive? Why can't there be a boss that tries to get you? You
Yeah.
know, they wait for you to come.
Maybe because he doesn't know you're there. Maybe because that's a strategic point of the ship that he doesn't want you to take. Maybe because he doesn't want to. God, don't be so critical.
Like, are
Like,
your
if this
shields
guy-
back up? Okay, I'm still here.
Wow, look at how much damage he took from that shot. Wow.
Alright, there we go. That was Thumos. Man, they really played him up. He destroyed, he killed my best men. The Blood Legion would die for him. It's like, well, they just die for anything, as the case may be.
No, they die for their cause. Simple as that.
From what yeah,
Spread the word.
spread the word. Thumos is gone for good.
Man,
Wow.
Thumos, that bastard.
Ooh, boy.
I'm glad we got him.
Man, he's so unpredictable how he sometimes floated in the air directly above his original position.
I'm sure in 10 years I'll be saying, hey, remember Thumos? What a great boss he was.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Originally, I had about 55 minutes of me bitching and moaning about Destiny 2,
Which would have probably been a lot better than what you did do.
but I didn't feel like it was constructive enough, so I decided to get rid of the audio, go back to the game, play a number of hours more, focus on it, run around, do things, see things, and maybe that would add something more constructive to my criticism, when really all it happened to do was cement the opinion that I already had of Destiny 2. Destiny 2 is mediocre. It doesn't do anything well. It doesn't do anything really badly. If Destiny 2 was food, it would be plain white steamed rice. If it was a drink, it would be still room temperature tap water. Throughout the entirety of my Destiny 2 experience, I couldn't help shake the fact that the game had no soul. It had no character. It had no passion. There was nothing about Destiny 2 that made me think this was a project that was made by people who cared about what they were doing. Destiny 2 gives off the vibe that it was created inside of a sterile laboratory, or it was designed by suits sitting around a boardroom. The magic of Bungie's previous titles, namely, of course, Halo, they didn't translate in this game. It's a whole new company now, and you could see that in the experience. It's grindy, it is repetitive.
Grind and repetitiveness is what Destiny is, Rags. I'm not calling you out on this. I'm just saying that Destiny 1 was all about, oh, if you want to get stronger, you need to grind and do missions consistently to, you know, have a shot at doing this. See, the main purpose of the grind is so that you can get better weapons and do better at the game.
It is boring, and it can't hold my attention. This game isn't interesting. This game doesn't give me anything that other games, many other games, which have much smaller development teams and much, much smaller budgets, do far, far better. Very few things I can commend about Destiny 2. Very few things. I'll start off with the good, and then we'll morph into the mediocre. Even as I sit up on this chair and talk down into the microphone in front of me, I just feel so unenthusiastic about making this video. Not because I don't want to make it, but because the game itself is so... If it was a color, it would be gray. There's nothing about this game that made me feel passionate and interested, like I really wanted to tell people. If a game is good, a lot of the times you could hear it in someone's voice. When a reviewer is giving a glowing bit of praise about some mechanic or feature in a game that they enjoyed playing, they want to spread the word that this is a great experience. They want other people to have the same feelings that they did. But in Destiny 2, I find nothing in this game that really makes me want to recommend it. But I want to be fair to the game. It's not awful. It's not terrible.
Just like I want to be fair to you. You're not awful. You're not terrible. But there are things that you do say in these reviews that I just don't agree with. And that's, that's life. I'm not going to agree with everything you think, and you're not going to agree with everything I think.
It's not literally Hitler, but it's not exactly praiseworthy either. This game could use a bit of the German engineering.
This I will agree with. German engineering is top-notch. And this game could definitely use a little German engineering in it. Because, like you said, and I actually agree with you, the game's mediocre.
Anyway, let's start off with the positives. Because Destiny 2 does have some positives about it. Ultimately, I think they're overshadowed by other things that are more important, because I think that Destiny seems to have focused maybe on the wrong things, at least to me, but Destiny 2 does things that are good. But it's never really the things that the game is praised for. Let's take a look at where I am. You've been watching this footage in the back. I'm jumping from platform to platform on these oil rig sort of things, above this very bright and vibrant blue sea. There's massive installations nearby, biodomes. The design, in terms of how the game looks, is commendable.
And that's one of the things that people were commending about. People have said since the game's demo, or the beta test, or whatever you want to call it, came out, that the game looks amazing. The game looks beautiful. It's colorful and all of that. You just probably haven't seen it because everybody's too busy talking about, oh, the story is so good, which I will say this, the story is a bit lacking.
The game looks pretty good. From a graphical standpoint, it's quite nice. The effects in particular, which are almost obnoxious in how much they are, but they're done well. Things are flashy. When you kill enemies, they fly back, or they dissipate into the air, or they turn into some gas, or their soul comes out of their neck hole. I don't know any of the lore of this game. They don't tell you any lore about.
They do tell you lore, actually. You just have to know where to look. It's just the fact that they didn't put any lore system into Destiny 2, whereas in Destiny 1, it had an exterior thing where you could go to that was called your Grimoire. And I'm not going to say much about the Grimoire because the Grimoire was shit.
Destiny. Things incinerate when you shoot them, and the shields pop away, and your powers, they have magical flashes whenever you use them. It's a very, very style over substance game. And it, to its credit, does that bit well, but as we'll learn, the substance isn't very substantive, which is important. I think it helps the grindy nature of Destiny because at least while you're plowing through enemies with nary a care because of how insanely easy this game is and how insanely repetitive it is, at least it captures your attention in the sense that everything I'm doing has some level of graphical fanfare to it. Not just the effects and the gunfire, but in the environments as well. There were a couple times in Destiny 2 where we stopped and we looked around at the world surrounding us, and even though the game did practically nothing to explain it, or to give us more information on it, or direct us to some place that had more information on it, at least we could say, as we passed by casually, mowing down all that dared to stand before us almost effortlessly, at least we could say to ourselves, huh, that's kind of cool, and then proceed. See, this is cool. Look at this.
I know, it's
You see,
really
like, this
great.
shit right here, this is cool. Like this, look at this. This is cool. Like, this is legitimately cool.
But yeah, I think this must be like the
Man, look at
Vex
this.
framework or something.
This
Yeah,
is so fucking cool. This is cool as shit.
and
The
yet,
problem is, there's no story behind it, no explanation of it.
Yes, there actually is. If you'd have been paying attention to what the people who were telling you to do the mission had been telling you, instead of just saying, oh, they're telling you, go to this place, shoot this enemy. They actually explain what this area is. Rather in depth, actually.
But look how awesome as shit this looks. The scale
yeah,
of
I
it
mean,
all, the design.
this whole area is really got a lot of stuff going on.
But in all the places that I went and all the things that I saw, I really only had the presence of mind to record that in terms of admiration of the environment. It's all done fairly well. One or two places notably so, like the Pyramidion there. But again, it's not really explained any story behind it, so you don't feel a connection to it. It ultimately is just a pretty shooting gallery. It's like the last shooting gallery, but the last shooting gallery wasn't quite as interesting to look at as this one. A huge shame. I think one of the reasons I'll be a little tough on this game is because, one, it's extremely popular, and I like to rustle the jimmies. One reason I don't wear them. But another is because this was really played up by those professional video game journalists who reviewed this. I kept reading over and over about a bright, vibrant, colorful universe and a cast of very interesting characters and a greatly improved dialogue and storytelling and lore. Review after review praised this game with high scores, citing specifically things that I found laughable and lacking. Let us begin, if this review is to have, and a review in quotations, if this video is to have any structure, we should go ahead and probably start at the campaign. That's what Fringy and I did first. It was played up so much. The campaign is such a huge improvement from the first, they said. Oh,
It really is. Campaign is freaking phenomenal in this game. Whereas in Destiny 1, you go here, you shoot enemy, you win. Which, ideally, that is what Destiny 2 is. However, there's more story to it in Destiny 2, such as lore, explanation of what these enemies are, what they're doing, than there was in Destiny 1. See, in Destiny 1, your first enemy you encounter is the Fallen. Okay. And all that your ghost says is, we need to get out of here, this is Fallen territory. However, when you're starting out the game playing in Destiny 2, it explains exactly what the Fallen are, whereas it says, hey, these are the Fallen, they worship machines. Whereas you wouldn't have known that in Destiny 1 unless you opened the Grimoire, and a lot of people didn't have access to the Grimoire.
disclaimer, I haven't played the first Destiny. The
Yeah, that's apparent.
first Destiny looked like a boring chore.
Which it was.
And I'm probably right, because if this is an improvement over the last one, and this one's a boring chore, yeesh. Fringy and I began with the campaign, touted as a much improved piece of storytelling that gave an interesting take on the world and the universe, and that it would flesh out the Destiny lore and show us just what an interesting world that we would be fighting in and exploring.
Which is exactly what it did had you been paying attention, Rags.
Destiny 2 fails horribly in this regard.
No, you fail horribly at paying attention.
Not only in the story itself, but in the characters, and in the way that it explains everything around you. Many times in these articles that I read, and I did read a lot of articles and skimmed over articles and things like that, I wanted to see what people saw in Destiny 2 that Fringy and I just didn't see, what a lot of people apparently don't see. And the story was lauded as one of the great improvements of the title. Bungie knocked it out of the park, they would say. They did such a great job.
They did. As I've been referencing the first game, I will again reference it. They were terrible at it in the first game. Destiny 2 had a lot of story in it, and it was pretty good. If you play through it again with the information that I'm giving you, and, pay a little bit more attention, not to be mean, then I think you would be able to see that. Because the first game had no story. This game at least has, cutscenes and things that explain what's going on as you play the game. There's a story in this game. Whereas Destiny 1 didn't have that at all. They had cutscenes, but they didn't explain jack shit. And I don't understand how they could get away with that, to be honest. However, this is a massive improvement of the first game. I'm not saying you should go play the first game, because quite frankly, I don't think anyone should play the first game. Whereas I did enjoy PvP in the first game, even though I was terrible and still am terrible in Destiny 2 PvP. It was fun. It was fun to run around, talk shit to other players, and, basically get your ass handed to you on a silver platter. These games like that were basically Call of Duty-esque. And I don't really like Call of Duty much. At all. However, with the supers and all the special abilities you can get from Destiny 1, as well as Destiny 2 in PvP, it made it a lot more enjoyable than your simple copy-paste shooter gallery. And that's really all I have to say about that, because you didn't play the first game, so you wouldn't know how much of an improvement the story was from the first game. Which is fair, because it was a boring chore. However, it had its moments.
Let's take a look.
You died on a battlefield long before my time. Something special brought us together. They called it the Traveler. And when it arrived, it changed your world forever. It was a golden age. And for centuries, humanity thrived. Until it didn't.
Now see, this is not very well written as a story. However, at the same time, as a writer, I will say that it's decent.
An ancient enemy pursued the Traveler across the universe. Humanity faced extinction. But the Traveler made a choice. Its sacrifice destroyed its ancient enemy and brought life to the ghosts. I am a ghost. More importantly, I'm your ghost. And you are one of the Traveler's chosen. You are a guardian.
What the fuck was that?
That, my friend, was an explanation of the lore of the game.
That was a mess.
I will agree it was a mess. However, it was an explanation of the lore of the game.
No author. I'm no storyteller. I'm no screenwriter.
Well, I am.
But there's a few things that I understand about telling a story. And almost all of those things, Destiny 2 fails at.
Incorrect, actually. It actually did a very good job at explaining the basic premise of why you are here and what you will be doing.
If you want to have people care about the universe, you have to show them the universe. You have to explain it. You have to world build. You have to do something that makes me care about everything around me. Destiny 2 fails in an oddly spectacular fashion.
And this, of course, is where that I will have to cut this off because my internet is shit. However, I will keep going. You said all these things, and I generally believe you meant them, which that's fine. I don't see any issue in you not liking the things that I do like. You know, we're humans, or in your case, dogs, and in my case, a fox. We don't like the same things, but we can at least try to be civil about it. I'd like to believe that I'm being civil, and if I'm not, you can correct me if you do make a response video to this, or even if you see this and you type out a comment. That's fine. I don't care if you think that I'm not being civil, because I will take that constructive criticism into mind. Now, all these questions you asked about the game are either explained in the first game or the second game, as I have said before. These things just... you have to know certain basic things before you can go in. Like, I would have said, if you had never played Destiny 1 before, to go on the Destiny wiki and go to the Grimoire and read a couple of the entries in the Grimoire. Even though I hate the Grimoire, it explains a lot. I won't doubt the fact that there's going to be people in the comment section saying, "Oh, you're such a dumbass, it doesn't explain anything." Shut the fuck up right now. Don't even comment, just get the fuck off of here. But the Grimoire actually explains a lot of the story of Destiny 1. Now, that being said, it's a rather shitty way of explaining. But I will say this, I liked your video. Your video was constructive, and it was also destructive. Just like mine will probably be seen as. However, I will say that I have no foul opinions of you because you don't like the things that I like. As you can see, I still play Destiny 2. It's installed on here once the page will load. It's installed on here, and I play quite a bit of it, actually. Now, I will say that a lot of times things aren't as they seem, in the fact that a lot of people will say things about something, but they won't mean it. They've either been paid off to say it, or they've never touched it, and they're going off of what other people are saying because they've seen people play it. Until you've experienced things firsthand, you will have no idea how it is. Destiny 2 is a grind, and it is repetitive, and in some ways it is very annoying in that fact. However, the grind and the repetitiveness are necessary, because the grind and the repetitiveness is what gives you your power in the first place. Now, I will pull up my Destiny shit here, and I will show you just how much that I have played this game, because this game just blows me away, for lack of a better term. This game has given me numerous things to look forward to in life, such as, for example, we won Faction Rally. Iron Lord is back, so Iron Banner is back. We get to have a lot of fun playing these games, where a lot of times, and I'm going to have to go to my clan here to get to my profile, because the page is being retarded. However, sometimes things are very disappointing. Like in this issue of This Week at Bungie, they're nerfing the Night Stalker Hunter, which is what I usually main. Now we can't disappear into smoke. There are numerous times that I have sat back and asked, what the hell is Bungie doing? Why are they making this game so difficult for people who are just starting out? Or why is the story not explained as fully as it could have been? And a lot of times I'm just sitting there wondering, and the page isn't loading, shit. Anyway, I'm just sitting here wondering, why even care about this game anymore? You're losing a player base rather quickly because you're doing all of these things that are pretty shitty, actually. And I think that's what you were trying to get at there, Rags, is that the game isn't perfect. There are a lot of things that the game does right and a lot of things that the game does wrong. However, I don't think you should take into consideration personally, that the wrongs outweigh the good. Because if you were to think that way, then a lot of games that you enjoy, I would say, are terrible. Because, quite frankly, we don't agree on the same things. And that's fine. So, I hope you've enjoyed this little response/rant. I don't give a fuck if you cared about it or not. I don't care if you even respond. It's just the fact that I needed to get this out of the way because as soon as I saw the video the first time, I knew, hey, I need to make a video about this, and I've just now gotten around to it. So, I hope you have a good day, and peace out.